Peter, we are live
Oh my God, Larry,
at
what are we going to
last.
do now?
Yeah. Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. I am with Peter Knego, and we are going to both. And by the way, Sam St. John, also known as Americana Sam, he was going to join us, but where he lives, there's been, I guess, some power outages and all that. That's his excuse, I think, Peter, right?
Mm-hmm. He's scared of me.
But
He's scared
yeah,
of us. No,
but he's a
seriously, I
big
do hope
ELO
he's okay.
fan too.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is our top 20 ELO songs each. And first, Peter's going to mention the 10 that didn't make his top 10 list, all in whatever. And then I'm going to do the same. And then we're going to go back and forth with our top 10 till we get to number 1 and Mr. Blue Sky.
Well, I may disappoint you on that, but okay.
Oh, now, first of all, tell me a little bit about how you became and Peters, I think you said ELO is your second favorite band after this band.
That's right. That's right. So ELO, actually, they were my favorite band in the 70s. When I first heard the song Livin' Thing, I was like, my God, who is this? What is this? I wasn't into rock music. I did listen to the American Top 40 Countdown. So I knew songs like Evil Woman and Strange Magic and Can't Get Out of My Head, which were the 3 hits in the US before that. But when Livin' Thing came on, I was like, my God, those violins, that chorus, this is such spectacular, beautiful music. Who is this? What is this? And so I went out and bought a New World Record, which is my favorite album cover also. It's one of my favorite albums, probably certainly in my top 5, up there with Number One in Heaven by Sparks and a few others. So I went home and I put on this album, and every single song was perfection, pop perfection. It was like where the Beatles left off with Eleanor Rigby. I know they're always compared with I Am the Walrus, but I just loved the beauty and the classical nature and the synths, giving it sort of that futuristic, spaceship vibe. So I fell in love with that album, and I became obsessed with ELO. I drew their logo on my notebook, and every time an ELO single came out, I would make a little chart with how high it went up, like in the Billboard chart, and then when it went down. And I was always cheering them on and always pissed that they never had a number 1 album or a number 1 single in the US. And bands like Fleetwood Mac and Boston and the Eagles, they were all like doing better than ELO, but they were in the top nonetheless. So I was just mad about them, and they got me into music passionately. I did love Queen back then up through A Day at the Races, and then after that I really started to go downhill with them. 10cc, The Sweet, British bands were my obsession in the 70s, basically. But ELO was the cream of the crop. And until the early 80s, up through Time, they were my favorite band. And then after Time, I think Jeff got less interested in keeping ELO current and fresh. And Sparks, who were always there, became my favorite band. And they remain my favorite band to this day. I just, and Sparks have blown ELO away as far as their catalog is concerned. ELO had like 11 albums that you and I consider the real ELO. The 21st century ELO is basically Jeff Lynne as a solo artist recreating ELO as a sound. So that's kind of where I stepped in the picture.
So are you a Beatles fan at all, or?
I am a Beatles fan, and I love the Beatles, but there are certain Beatles songs like Hey Jude and Let It Be that I never want to hear again because I'm so tired of them. But of course, the Beatles were probably the greatest band in the history of rock music. Followed closely by Sparks. But I thought Jeff Lynne kind of bettered the Beatles in a way. If you listened to what ELO was doing in the 70s versus what Paul McCartney was doing. And I liked Wings, but I never really got crazy for Wings. But I just thought Jeff was kind of writing those songs that I wished Paul McCartney would write. And even Paul McCartney would say later on, he wished he had written Mr. Blue Sky, which was the ultimate, Beatles tribute. in the ELO canon. So
yeah. And then for Jeff to produce both George Harrison and Paul McCartney shows you right there.
And Ringo.
And Ringo, yeah.
Do the Beatles songs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it because my friends in the 70s all, oh, ELO's so commercial. They're so stupid, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm like, yeah, but the Beatles are great. And I'm like, yeah, dude, if they were so commercial and so stupid, why is Jeff Lynne now producing every one of them that's still alive?
Yeah.
And John Lennon said, you know, famously that ELO was son of Beatles.
Yeah.
You know, so clearly the Beatles approved, you know, so what aren't you hearing? And then another best friend of mine loved Tom Petty. And used to make fun of me for loving ELO. And, you know, I love it. And then here comes, you know, Tom Petty begging Jeff Lynne to produce him. You know, they met, you know, their cars were next to each other in Beverly Hills. And Tom Petty was like, I want you to produce my next album, you know. So, hello. You know, ELO. And now the critics are actually loving ELO. People are going to see them in giant stadiums, and their music is back. Mr. Blue Sky is bloody everywhere. You know, the single was not a hit when it came out. It died at number 33 on the charts in the US, and it was a big hit in England. And now Mr. Blue Sky is considered one of the greatest pop songs, you know, of all time. So I'm just, you know, I'm thrilled that finally ELO is being recognized, and people talk about them now like they were always loved and they were always a cool band. And it was like, no, man, if you loved ELO, you know, around the time of Discovery, they were like anathema to rock and roll fans, and the critics were vicious. And you know, my friends, you know, I went to see them at the Anaheim Stadium on the Out of the Blue tour with the giant spaceship. Journey opened for them, and everybody started leaving after Journey. I'm like, what? You know, what's wrong with these people? You know, so it was rough if you were an ELO fan, like Sparks. You know, now it's great to be a Sparks fan, but back in the day, if you weren't in LA listening to K-Rock like in the 80s, being a Sparks fan was tough.
Okay, so after we go through the list of our top 20, if you have the time, Peter, we'll answer any questions you want on ELO or Sparks.
Okay, I'm good for both of those subjects. That's great. So, Van Halen, I can't talk much about. So, all right, cool. So
Peter, tell us the top 10 songs that did not make your top 20 or top 10 list.
Okay. And you know, there should be a top 50. I mean, there's just so many great ELO songs.
It was difficult to do, right?
Really hard. I was like, I left some songs off my top 20 that broke my heart. But okay, I'm going to start number 20, a song called Night in the City, which is on Out of the Blue. It's an opener, I believe, on side 2. The guitar on that crunching guitar and those backing vocals, Night in the City. Just a great record. It could have been a huge pop hit. Number 19 would be One Summer Dream on Face the Music. It was
beautiful song.
Jeff's tribute to Dream Number 9 by John Lennon, or Number 9 Dream by John Lennon. But in a way, even though Number 9 Dream is probably my favorite Lennon song, I thought One Summer Dream was a more complete pop song. It had a better structure to it, you know, and just magnificently gorgeous with the orchestration. Fire on High, number 18, incredible opening track, the guitar, the backwards, you know, orchestra, and that really kind of a scary, disturbing beginning to that song. And then it just explodes into this magnificent opus, incredible record. Number 17, Confusion on Discovery. What a great pop record. You know, it was during that ABBA era of everything being so cleanly produced, and that little keyboard that Richard Tandy does, that sort of bizarre out of, you know, like some Muzak elevator, but it's just so cool. You know, great record. Sweet Talking Woman, a perfect bebop. It's to me like the happy bebop version of Livin' Thing with the violins. Just really a great pop record. Number 14, Steppin' Out, which is on Out of the Blue. It was the first song I heard on Out of the Blue, actually. They played it on the radio in LA. And I thought, my God, this is the most gorgeous, gorgeous song. It should be a single. It should have been, I think, the single after Mr. Blue Sky instead of It's Over, which bombed.
Yeah.
But anyway, great, great, great record. And Jeff never liked Stepping Out. He was very, he's something about the structure of it. And so he re-recorded it in recent years, and he thought he fixed it. But I like the rawness of the original and the orchestration. Number 13, one of the greatest pop singles ever, and ELO's biggest hit in the US chart-wise, went to number 4, was Don't Bring Me Down, which he wrote at the last minute to fill that gap on Discovery. And it just kicks butt. And to me, it's sort of like Lady Madonna by the Beatles. Great, great, great record.
Now, Don't Let Me Down, Bruce.
Bruce, yeah, Bruce, yeah. It's actually Bruce,
yeah.
But everybody thinks it's Bruce, and apparently Bruce Willis was like a big ELO fan and was sitting in the front row. And during one of their concerts, Jeff like kind of pointed at him, and
That's funny.
Telephone Line. Again, I mean, how do you keep these records not even in your top 10? And Telephone Line, it was so commercial, but it was a magnificently structured pop song. And their biggest selling single in the US, it went gold. It only made it to number 7. It should have been number 1. But the construction of that song and Jeff's voice, and how many people, I mean, I certainly had it on my answering machine, for like 2 or 3 years at the time. Another massive hit with that kick-ass piano was Evil Woman. And again, just, it went top 10 and it was a big hit, but it should have been bigger. And then, so that's my outside of the top 10.
Yeah. And James Boyce says, seeing Jeff in Hyde Park in 2014, he mentioned he didn't quite get it right with Steppin' Out.
Yeah.
Now, what does he know?
Right. What did Jeff know? He only wrote the bloody thing. Yeah.
But that's actually one thing I dislike about an artist is when even like John Lennon was kind of notorious for it, putting down his own songs, right? It kind of takes away from people that love the song, right?
But I agree, but in a way, it's also kind of refreshing that they don't take themselves too seriously or think that just because they created this, it's, untouchable and you can't critique it. So there is that. But I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
These are the 10 that did not make my top 10 list. It's a Living Thing from A New World Record. Just every one of Jeff's songs is just so much melody, so catchy. And even though, yes, they were commercial, especially in the later years, they were still a little bit experimental. Like they'd have an opera singer on A New World Record, right? Something kind of different at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, El Dorado. His vocals on that, kind of almost like a Roy Orbison vocal on it. I just think, I love the way he used to end a lot of the early albums, like an epic song like that.
Yeah. And I love, actually, that's very true on El Dorado. I think that the song itself kind of meanders a little bit.
It's a little long. Yeah.
But his voice on that, like you said, to me, it sounds like he's drinking in a bar and he's kind of reminiscing about, I mean, the whole album is about, a guy going to sleep and having this dream, like there was a movie called Walter Mitty where Danny Kaye was all these, mythical characters in this dream that he had, and he was able to live an interesting life through his dreams. And that's kind of what that album was about. And the production on El Dorado, I mean, I do have to say, my problem with El Dorado is, again, I think Jeff's voice wasn't quite up to his better par of later years. And a lot of the songs like Boy Blue, I just find grinding after a while. But the production and that orchestra that Lewis Clark, added to ELO versus, them overdubbing violins and cellos was so magical. El Dorado, the intro and the outro in El Dorado are magnificent. I'm sorry to keep. Sorry.
All right.
I can't shut up.
So there's so many hits, and there's probably some hits missing in my top 20, but I had to include Showdown from On the Third Day.
Great. Yeah.
Of course, Don't Bring Me Down from Discovery. And I used to disc jockey in the late 70s and the 80s, and we played I think that's the ELO song we played the most because it was guaranteed to get people, on the dance floor.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you have this on your list, One Summer Dream?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got it on my list too. That's just gorgeous.
Yeah, just on the outside like you. It didn't quite make the top, but yeah.
And another one that's gorgeous is Rain is Falling from Time.
Yeah.
Jungle, which is real. When I first bought Out of the Blue, I hated that song.
Yeah.
Because it's so not ELO, right? It's
yeah. But it's kind of
grew to
Ringo
love it.
Starry. It's kind of, something off of Yellow Submarine or,
Yeah,
it's
it
got
could be
that.
like in a Disney movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Mama from ELO 2. Now, once again, it's a little too long. It could have been trimmed a bit, but
Yeah.
it's still, and I do like Jeff's vocals even early on that particular song.
Yeah.
Great melody. So Serious from Balance of Power.
Great pop song. I love pop music, and this is the thing I'm happy to admit. I'm a sucker for good pop just as much as I like good rock. And Jeff Lynne wrote incredible pop, So yeah, great song, but ELO was over by the time that song came out, and it got no love.
LO from Buff ELO. That's a good one. Good one, Adam.
Yeah.
Okay, my final
Buff
one.
ELO. Yeah.
My final one is in tribute to Roy Wood, the long forgotten Roy Wood.
Yeah.
From the first album, Whisper in the Night. I really like his vocals on that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And Roy Wood, right? Sparks love Roy Wood.
Yeah. And the Move. Yeah.
Yeah. They wanted Roy Wood to produce Kimono My House. He was on their very short list before Muff Winwood, got the gig.
Yeah.
And and I asked them about ELO, and they're sort of polite, but I don't think for some reason they.
Yeah.
Although I find a great similarity between their music in a lot of ways, with the pop construction and the classical elements, and of course the synths. There is a common ground there. But yeah.
Mm. Okay, so let's get into the top 10 one at a time.
All right.
I'll go first, Peter.
Okay.
So number 10, and like this song here, I almost forget how it goes, but I was definitely, going through Spotify. Oh, I love this song. It is Bluebird from Secret Messages, a gentle, hopeful song using the bluebird as a symbol of freedom, peace, and escape from sorrow.
Wow.
Well, I wrote that myself after I copied it from Wikipedia.
I hope you donated to Wikipedia. Well, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that song, and I actually like that album, but it was a sad time for ELO because, it was new wave, and they were considered this big old fashioned band by that point in time. Yeah. Interesting choice. Okay. So here's my number 10, and it probably would be number 1 if it weren't something that I just am really tired of at this point, but I'm really happy for its success. And it is a brilliant, brilliant record. And it'll be the song that probably they're the best known for. And of course, it's Mr. Blue Sky. Yeah. I just don't need to hear it anymore. It's kind of in there with Let It Be and Hey Jude.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, but I'm toasted on it.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't listen to the radio that much in my life, so songs like Hey Jude or whatever, I usually not getting. Even Stairway to Heaven, I'm not tired of.
Okay, wow, good for you.
Okay, number 9 is kind of like a mixture of ABBA and the Bee Gees and ELO. It's Shine a Little Love from Discovery. Yeah. Kind of annoying in a way, but what really makes the song is the guitar in it.
Yes.
It's got a bit of a rock feel to it, right?
Totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And that the explosive synths and that crunching guitar, and it is very Bee Gees. But I think a lot of ELO from Face the Music on I think Jeff was listening to what the Bee Gees were doing. And lest we only remember Bee Gees for Saturday Night Fever, which was actually great music.
Yeah.
Bee Gees were brilliant going back to
Barry Gibb is one of the greats. And
one
the
of the
Bee Gees.
greatest also. Total, absolute genius.
Yeah.
His songwriting and the production, the Bee Gees just, Lonely Days, Lonely Nights, up there again with Eleanor Rigby.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. So, and Jeff's a smart guy, and he started getting a little funky on Face the Music with Evil Woman. And I think that's when the Bee Gees had Nights on Broadway, that 1975 vibe with a little bit of disco undertow. So it makes perfect sense. And then, of course, with Shine a Little Love, I was horrified when it came out because it was pure, straight in your face disco right after Out of the Blue. And I was like, oh my God. Here we go down the roller coaster. But I did end up loving quite a few songs on it and hating some others. So,
and let's not forget Robin Gibb when he would sing, "I started a joke" with the finger in his ear that always used to bug me as a kid.
Okay,
get your finger out of your ear.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Discovery rules, Davey.
Yeah, it's a great pop album for sure.
Now, number 8. This better be in your list, Peter. I'll be upset.
Oh, wait. I haven't done my number 9.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Showdown. ELO's funkiest groove. Marvin Gaye's I Heard It Through the Grapevine. Jeff was pretty obvious sometimes with some of the songs he was riffing from, like on Out of the Blue. He did the Beach Boys like almost note for note on the one in the Wild West. Oh God, I can't think of the name of it now, with the Mexican cantina type music. Anyway, this was totally Marvin Gaye's I Heard It Through the Grapevine, but a rock version.
Oh.
And it's great. And it should have been a big hit.
Okay. So number 8, This better be in your list, Peter, or like I said, I'll be upset.
Okay.
Because I can't get this song out of my head. Get it out of my head. El Dorado. El Dorado was the very first album I bought by them, and I didn't really know. Well, actually, I saw them on TV doing Roll Over Beethoven, and I loved their stage act, right? So I bought the album. And that song, first time I heard it, it was so Beatle-y, right? Like, oh, I love this song. And Jeff's vocals and everything. And that's number 8 for me.
Okay, well, don't kill me. It's not in my top 10. It should be. And actually it didn't even in the top 20. I kind of bumped that one for One Summer Dream because
that's a nice one. Yeah.
A similar vibe. Of course, can't get out of my head. And their first hit in the US, which was very important for them, and it made El Dorado go gold. Beautiful record. And it like you said, this should be a top 50 or at least. So for me, number 8 is Hold On Tight from Time. It doesn't really go as much with the rest of the album, but it's so uplifting. And again, the hook and then that French chorus, Accroche-toi, must have been huge in Canada, especially in Quebec, where everything's bilingual.
Yeah.
Beautiful record. And his voice on that is just so hold on tight. Yeah. It's just a beautiful record. Yeah. Beautiful.
Thanks. Okay. My number 7, the opening track. I love this song. See if you can guess what it is. A mysterious electronic rock song inspired by hidden communications and messages that may be all around us.
Gee, could it be Secret Messages?
Yes, I think it could be.
It's a great record. Yeah.
Yeah. And right there, even though it's commercial, they're still doing some interesting things in the songs, right? A little experimental, a little different. Right?
Yep. That's what made ELO stand out. When you would, those are the little Easter eggs in every ELO song. There's something going on. I like secret messages.
And there are secret messages in the song.
Yeah. Which was, his way of saying, screw you to the moral majority. So good for him.
I guess that really upset him, right? Like, idiots.
Well, it was kind of ridiculous when people were actually burning ELO albums because they thought they were, possessed by the devil or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's very cool. Okay. Well, my number 7 is I'm Alive on Xanadu soundtrack. That was the ultimate, get in the spaceship from the beginning, the whole zoom and that crescendo musical interlude in the middle. And
I've never seen the movie, unfortunately.
well, the movie I was destroyed by that.
Is it as good as Roller Coaster?
It's, it's better than Roller Coaster in a nostalgic way. I love Xanadu now. I feel good when I go watch it because it's like this tribute to LA in the 1980s, with the Pan Pacific Auditorium and Olivia Newton-John and all of that, stuff that was going on. It was a terrible movie, the worst acting and worst directing, but there was a fun quality to it, like Mamma Mia. And no wonder it became a Broadway musical ultimately. But the soundtrack to Xanadu and the album cover art, when that came out in 1980, I was like, this is incredible. And then I went to see the movie and I practically like jumped off Mulholland, just like, what has my band done? How could they be involved with this disaster of a movie? And it killed their career. That was like a nail in the coffin.
Yeah. And, and that Bluebird song, my number 10 choice. I love Bluebird too. Yeah, it's because of that work. I just love that part of the song, right? That's why I chose them.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Love All Over the World from Xanadu.
Great pop record also. And, in a huge concert favorite during the last tours, again, and he was also doing a Jeff Lynne version of Xanadu, the song, which Jeff thought was one of his best records. It's great pop music. I mean, it's just uplifting and beautiful, beautifully constructed songs.
All right. Number 6. Let's get this out of the way. It's Mr. Blue Sky.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got to be one of the catchiest songs ever, right? Like,
yeah. Oh, I agree. And that was why I when it came out, I was madly in love with that song, and the whole Concerto for a Rainy Day side of Out of the Blue, I thought was pop perfection. So yeah, Mr. Blue, it deserves all the acclaim it's getting now, but it's that, I'm a little sick of it, but I had to put it in my top 10 also. You can't not acknowledge that song.
That's what I found with El Dorado. I can play that anytime, never get tired of it. But with Out of the Blue, when I first bought it, I was thinking, this is one of the greatest albums ever, right? And then within a few weeks, I was sick of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Out of the Blue, I always thought was a little overrated because I think there was a rush, to get it completed. And I think some of the songs would have been better as B-sides than necessarily on an album. I think if Out of the Blue was a single album, it might have been my favorite ELO album. But there are tracks on there that I never liked, and I still don't like. Yeah. I don't want to make anybody angry at me, so I'm not going to mention necessarily what they are because it's just my opinion. But I just thought after a New World record, which to me was perfection, Out of the Blue was a little bit of a step down and a little rough around the edges and some of the backing vocals also. Hey, Morris.
Yeah, Morris. Hello, Peter and Larry. Sorry I'm late, but I'm happy to see you, Peter. Loved your interview with Monty Mala.
Oh, love it. Thank you. Thanks for listening and watching both of them. Thank you.
And I wanted to get Sparks' new Live on the Moon CD on Amazon Canada, right? Instead of paying tariffs from the States. And then it finally went on sale on Friday, and it was over $100. I'm not a multimillionaire, Peter, but anyway, my buddy Morris already has the CD. He's sending me his CD that he got at the record store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then he's getting I send him the money for it, and so we're both happy.
Really cool. Morris, that's really cool of you. But wait a minute, why are they charging $100? I bought mine on the Sparks site.
Yeah.
Is it because you're in Canada that they charge like what? I think
it's through another seller, like a third party for now, and it's going to at some point it will be on Amazon Canada, like at a
Right.
decent price, hopefully. But yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I ordered mine, and I ordered a music that you can dance to
yeah.
at the same time, but I haven't gotten the Live on the Moon yet. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen, for doing this. You're welcome,
Thank you,
Adam.
Ron, yeah, awesome.
I'm surprisingly not fed up with Mr. Blue Sky. Hearing it live just made you feel glad to be alive. Yeah.
Yep, completely.
Xanadu didn't kill ELO. Peter, you're wrong. Time was the
Okay.
next release and was amazing. Their U.S. popularity did not decline, but that happened to a lot of 70s bands in the 80s. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think it probably did turn off some ELO fans because it was like disco-y and
There were
right?
3 factors.
Yeah.
One, they got busted for using pre-recorded tracks during their live shows, and that hit the news, and ELO became anathema because how dare anybody use, even though everybody was doing it, ELO got busted for it. And the other thing was, yes, Discovery and Xanadu, the combination of those 2 projects for the rock base, that was poison. But
Yeah.
indeed, even though Time, to me, it's my second favorite ELO album. I think one of the greatest albums ever recorded. It only went gold in the US after, Discovery being double platinum and Out of the Blue being triple platinum.
Yeah.
It was a big drop in popularity, not artistically, but popularity wise. Time was not a hit in the US.
Yeah. New world record.
Yeah.
I felt it was wrong that I got it before Larry. Yeah, you should feel guilty, Morris, buying a new Sparks album before I do.
Well,
it felt wrong. I had to let the universe be right. Yeah.
That's very cool of you. Yeah.
Xanadu definitely didn't help. I'll agree on that. And also, I guess, being involved with Olivia Newton-John, right?
Yeah.
She was talented, right? Nothing against her.
She
but
was
it's not cool, right?
Not cool. And in England, I remember when the review came out, they called her Oblivion Neutron Bomb. I just thought, yeah, but she's a sweetheart of a person, and she was so beautiful. And I love Olivia, but I don't put her up there artistically, but it's hard not to like Olivia Newton-John. I mean, she was pretty adorable.
Yep, Time is awesome. Dave.
Yeah, good to see all this love for Time. Yeah.
Okay, so up next, number 3.
3? No, we're not up there yet,
aren't we?
No, I don't think so. No. Oh yeah, we're at number 6. What was the last? What's your number?
I'm sorry. I'm going to be. My next one's 5.
Okay, well, I haven't done my number 6. Your number 6 was Mr. Blue, right?
Yep.
Okay, mine is Livin' Thing. It was a song that got me into ELO, and I think one of the greatest songs ever written. And again, because these are numbers, we have to put it somewhere. But Livin' Thing, that's what got me into music. It's such a great record. And those violins and the way when each chorus comes on through that song, the intensity of the violins is building. It's very subliminal. It's not something you would pick up on the first time. But by the time you get to that third chorus, it's just like, my God, the world is exploding. Great, great, great record. Okay.
All right. From a new world record.
Yeah.
Try and guess the song. A dramatic song about feeling overwhelmed and hoping someone will provide support before everything collapses.
Mission?
Tightrope, the opening track.
Oh, Tightrope. Oh, God. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. I rank it even higher.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay. I never even thought about, yeah, you're right. You're say some.
That's what I wrote. That's what I wrote down, Peter.
I get it. I get it.
To the piece of paper, copying it from Wikipedia.
Well, the best intro ever. It takes that Elton John Funeral for a Friend thing and elevates it, to a beautiful, almost otherworldly level. It's the ultimate, to me, combination of that synthesizer, that sort of swirling synth vibe that's going on, the chorale, and all that orchestration. incredible record. And then when it gets into the song itself, and you're not even dealing with all that, just that kind of swing to it, and they say some days you're going to win. I mean, what a great record. Yeah. Such a great record. So it's my number 3.
So for somebody like Morris that hasn't heard like what would you consider a good first album for people to check out? A New World Record is one I
think a New World Record's perfect. If you don't like a New World Record, then don't bother.
Forget it.
Yeah, because if that doesn't impress you and make you fall in love with ELO, then I don't think anything you're going to listen to will. And then I would say if you're more of a electronic music fan, which I am a devout electronic music fan, and I love bands like Depeche Mode, Time is like a perfect electronic album, so those two would be my, and if you don't like either one, not your thing.
Okay. My number 4, there's something about Jeff with a lot of the first songs on an album. It's like he puts one of the catchiest songs at the start, right? Like to really get noticing the music. So I've got Turn to Stone from Out of the Blue.
Great.
Yeah, just
it's coming up on my list, and I'm not going to say anything about it because
it's actually sickening catchy.
It's outrageous. It is. Okay, but I'm going to shut up because I have to save that because it's on my list. I didn't do my number 5, which is Do Ya, which was a Move song that everybody loved for the Move. And then when ELO redid it, it got dogged. But I like the ELO version. To me, it takes all of the great, that guitar riff from the Move, but it explodes on the ELO A New World Record version. And those backing vocals are like the sweet Fox on the Run. They've got that just really catchy hook. Do Ya is one of the greatest rock songs ever written and deserves to do a lot better than it did. It was a moderate hit in the US, made it like top, I think, number 24. But it should have been much bigger. So Do Ya was great. And if we're at number 4, then I have to go to Twilight. Ooh. Speaking of opening tracks on Time, that is one of the most explosive, out of the world. It's Frankie Valli in outer space, basically. It's an utterly cosmic record, just way too complicated and majestic and gorgeous to have been a single, which it was, and it just barely, made the top 40 here in the US. I think it did much better in the UK, where they're much more open-minded about that kind of stuff. But Twilight was magnificent also. So, okay.
All right. So Scott says, anyone familiar with I've heard of it, but I've never heard it. The Night the Lights Went On in Long Beach. Have you heard that, Peter?
Yep. Bought the bootleg at Moby Disc Records, like in 1978. Very cool.
Okay. I think my favorite song is Rock and Roll is King. It has kind of the same drum beat as Angst in My Pants.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Don't tell that to Ron and Russell.
They'd be like, huh? Okay. Well, don't forget they shared Mac as their engineer.
That's right too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible because Mac was engineering Queen, EL. He worked at Musicland Studios in Munich.
Yeah.
And was Jeff Lynne's engineer, and then Queen and and Sparks. So interesting.
Yeah. Do Ya? Ace Frehley did a great version on one of his solo albums.
Cool. Yeah. So, and Todd Rundgren.
Yeah. Did you ever see ELO in concert?
Me?
Yeah.
I saw the Out of the Blue tour with the Spaceship.
I went to that's Oakland, right. Yeah.
Right. I went to Oakland Coliseum and then saw them at Anaheim Stadium. And then I saw the Time tour at the Forum in LA when Hall & Oates opened for them. And of course, at that time, Hall & Oates were bigger than ELO. And I was just like, I can't wait till they're done. And ELO comes on, and it was a great tour also. And then there were no ELO shows until Jeff came back in the 2000s. And I saw him at the Henry Fonda Theater in LA. He was doing sort of this practice gig. And Ringo Starr was up in the balcony watching. And Jeff was nervous as hell, but it was before he did this stadium tour.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant. And seeing him in a club with only, a few hundred people versus thousands was really great. So, yeah.
Cool. Twilight would be in my top 10. Should have been a bigger hit. I think it didn't break the top 30 here in the UK.
Exactly, James. I mean, what's that all about? Why? But I just think it was too complicated, not simple enough to be an immediately accessible pop song. But I think it's one of those songs that people will listen to in decades from now and think it was one of the greatest, ELO records for sure.
All right. My number 3 is from a New World record again. Rockaria, is that how you say it? Rockaria?
Rock aria.
Rock aria. Okay, aria. Yeah.
Opera aria.
I just love the opera singer in that. Like, it just makes the song, right? And it's kind of heavy too, and it's just a fun song.
Great guitar record, and I like that little.
I love Jeff's guitar work. He should have done more of it.
He doesn't get enough credit as a guitarist. He's never up there in that top league of master guitarists. But he didn't write songs around the guitar. He wrote songs and used the guitar as an emphasis in the songs, as opposed to a lot of rock bands that basically they structured the songs around whatever the guitar was doing. He used it more as an accent. But I love it, when he's on stage, he's got like 20 different guitars and he's just switching them, between each song. I mean, the man is just a complete genius. And, thank you, Jeff Lynne, for everything you've done. Wow. Okay.
So, you're going to like this one, Peter. Look.
Yay. Yes. Okay. we're getting there. So Tightrope, my number 3. Again, how can that be it's a number 1. It's just so great. But there are other songs that are also just as great. But I think Tightrope I get chills listening to it. And, listening to it on headphones, especially with all of those little background noises and everything that's going on in that record. It's the ultimate ELO song in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Opera rock.
Have a sip of water. It's just water, Peter.
I'm having not a latte, but
It'll look cool.
Coffee. Yeah.
All right. My number 2. Now, this I think is a deep cut. I'm impressed with myself.
Yeah, I'm impressed with you.
It is from El Dorado. It is Poor Boy the Greenwood.
Yeah. Great. I love Poor Boy the Greenwood. Rolling on that whole like dun, 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 oh my God, it's great.
That would be nice if that particular album could be remixed.
Yeah. It is a little muddy sounding, I think, by today's standards. And I think it could be cleaned up maybe a little bit, but also that little bit of an edge. I don't know. Maybe it shouldn't be messed with. That's a hard call. But I love the Greenwood, and they kept issuing it as the B-side of latter-day ELO singles.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Yeah. I think it was the B-side. It might have been the B-side of Telephone Line, actually. But yeah, beautiful song, great record. I haven't given El Dorado enough love in this, but I do love it overall. So my number 2, yours truly, 2095. His vocals are so beautifully Beatlesque, futuristic. It's a complex song with all these different breaks and that. Is that what you want? Is that what you really want? I mean, all these things, just the changes and the way it progresses. It's a masterwork. Again, probably too complex to have been a pop radio single. But whoa, what a song. And to this day, I get chills listening to that. So yours truly, 2095 from Times, third song on Time. Oh, thank you. For the mug.
Yeah, nice. All right, one more comment here. I was due to see Jeff's farewell
Uh,
in Hyde Park last year, but of course he was ill and it was canceled. Luckily, I saw his Hyde Park show in 2014 and 3 others after that. Yeah.
yeah, that was so sad. I saw that last tour, and we bought tickets for a show at the Forum. I actually went with Christy Hayden and Rick, her husband. Christy is a big ELO fan. Christy, who sang with
Yep.
Sparks.
Yep.
And Jeff was barely getting through the shows. You could see he was
Yeah.
having trouble standing, and he was just, he wasn't doing well. I hear he's doing much better now, and he's okay. But I think that tour was really exhausting for him. But it's frustrating for us as fans because we thought we were seeing the last ELO show in LA.
Yeah.
And then after that sold out, they added another one the next night, which was really like, come on, couldn't you made it the night before? So yeah, it was frustrating, but I'm so glad we saw it. Yeah.
I find El Dorado a good album, but there was always something missing for me, so I never fully got into it.
I get that.
The Buggles. Yours
Yeah, I get
truly.
that. I think yours truly was influenced by the Buggles and that Trevor Horn sound and Living in the Plastic Age. Incredible pop album, electronic album that came out right before Time. I would agree with that. And there's a lot of, Here Is the News was influenced by Blondie's Atomic. You can hear a lot of influence throughout the Time album. That's Jeff always tipping his hat to other people. And I would agree with that. Good call.
Yeah. All right. My number one.
Mm-hmm.
This has been my favorite song ever since the beginning. It is an epic. I've played it hundreds of times, never get tired of it. Kiama from ELO 2.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow, Larry, that is a
song.
Deep one.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I do like Kiama, and I had a lot of, interesting headphone listening sessions to it in the 70s when I was doing I would sit and draw, and do paintings and stuff. And I used ELO. I'm a night person. So at 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep, and that was, one of the songs that would stand out for me. That's very cool. Okay. Well, props to you for not going with something obvious, because mine is rather obvious, but I still
think disappointing, Peter.
I know. I hate to let everyone down, but I think Turn to Stone is the kick-ass, like when that little swirling synthesizer starts, and just takes you away in the big spaceship, and then those violin stabs and the break and those haunting backing chorus. And I love the lyrics on Turn to Stone. A lot of people hate Jeff Lynne's lyrics. They think, and he does sort of throw in lyrics at the last minute, but I think he's a genius. And the lyrics on Turn to Stone.
He's no Ron Mayle, Peter.
Well, that's true. Nobody is Ron Mayle. Ron Mayle is the greatest lyricist of our time. So I think, Turn to Stone was the ultimate ELO single. It's just, you hop on that spaceship and it takes you through that, in the concerts, you were going through this sort of meteor shower that was coming down, and to me, that's like the ultimate spaceship ride. And as a single, it was a hit, but it wasn't a big enough hit. I think it should have been a number one, so, okay. But it is my number one. So there you go.
Yeah. So do you think that I think I just read recently that he is working on a new album. I don't know, but
I read that too. I don't know if I believe it. I think, whatever he went through health-wise, I've heard that he's doing much better. And, there was a nice picture they put out of him with his daughter. It didn't look AI, but it looked like he was happy and smiling. I just kind of think Jeff is kind of laid back and maybe, enjoying retirement. But I would like him to write a new album. My disappointment with the last 3 or 4 ELO albums is that they were sort of very traditional. They were really solid, albums.
It's what you would expect, right?
Yeah, very expected. And what I've always loved about ELO is that, forgive the word, spark that was going on in the music, where he would throw in something you didn't expect and take you someplace. You get on that spaceship, on Earth, and you end up getting off the spaceship on Mars after you've gone through this incredible ride. And I think the latter albums were just really good, solid albums that didn't have that imagination and passion to them. And maybe that's just because he's, got himself isolated in this big studio up in his house up on the hills, and he's not getting input and working with other bands. And I don't even know that, maybe I think Jeff has always listened to what was going on at the time when he went in and recorded albums. And I don't think he's doing that so much now. So that's my only problem. Nothing against the last few ELO albums. I think they're really good, but nothing on par with what he was doing during their prime.
Mm-hmm. Best opening track, Twilight Fire, On High, or Tightrope? I would choose Tightrope.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Tightrope, followed by a close second with Twilight, but Fire on High and Turn to Stone, Yeah. But as an opening track, Tightrope. And you're right about Richard Tandy. Great keyboard player, and extremely underrated. He should be up there with all the others.
Oh, nice.
Emerson Palmer. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I wish I met Richard Tandy, but I'm glad I got to see him on the last couple of shows before he got sick.
Turn to Stone is up there. I also really love Telephone Line. Yeah.
Yep. That's incredible record.
Like genius, right?
Yep.
So now that we're done, that was fun, Peter.
Oh, I know, Larry. Gosh.
I disagree with your list, though.
Yeah, well, Kiyama, my God. But actually, even though I might not agree with it, I totally respect it. It's very cool. Yeah, it's not like you're just this casual person who heard ELO once and went, oh, yeah, I like Mr. Blue Sky. I mean, you're going deep with that.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to ask anything about ELO or Sparks, because Peter used to work with Ron and Russell back in the day.
Yeah.
How many years did you work with them? Or
I worked with them for about 20 years.
Wow.
Unofficially, I worked with them starting with All My Might in 1984. And I pretty much, it was around 2006, I worked with them, not officially, but I helped arrange for the Yoko Ono project, where they remixed, they actually completely reproduced from scratch.
Yeah.
Brilliantly, Give Me Something song. And they're incredible guys, just lovely human beings. And
I love the fact that Sean Lennon follows Sparks on X. And
that's so cool. Yeah, I think that might have been because of the Give Me Something. Yeah. And Yoko later said, and I know don't dog Yoko, please. I love Yoko. She's an incredible lady. And she's actually a great artist in a lot of ways. John Lennon was not a fool.
Nope.
She's not traditional music, but she did some stuff that people are like looking back on now going,
like Approximately Infinite Universe. That's one of my favorite double albums. And it's not her screaming like people always, that's what that's what you always read, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But she wrote songs, and she was a great songwriter. I liked her singing, and I even liked a little bit of her out there music, like the song Why from Plastic Ono Band. It's like punk rock before.
It is totally punk rock. The B-52s would not exist without Yoko Ono. I mean, Yoko was way ahead of her time and a strong, proponent for peace. And she co-wrote Give Peace a Chance with John Lennon. Everyone, it wasn't just John. And, he died with those master tapes in his arms of Walking on Thin Ice, which that song is absolutely brilliant and haunting, dark, mysterious. There's a lot more to Yoko than people give her credit for, and she's a lovely human being as well. And I heard
go
after
ahead.
we had arranged that that Sparks collaboration, that of all the remixes people were doing for her at the time, the Sparks project was her favorite.
Yeah.
So you go, Yoko.
Yeah. And not to bring everybody down, but what are your get all depressed now. But where were you when you heard that John Lennon, what had happened to John Lennon?
It was midnight,
Yeah.
and I was sitting in my car.
Peter stole Trevor Horn's hair.
Yeah. Oh, did I? Okay, I'll take that. I dig Trevor Horn. I think he's a great musician. I was sitting in my car. I may have. It was after working out at the gym, and I heard. I guess while I was at the gym late at night, I like to work out at night, and I heard that John Lennon had been shot. And so I went to my car, and on my radio I sat and I listened to the reports, and I was crying. I mean, I was so happy because John Lennon had just come back with the Double Fantasy album, and I was loving the Yoko songs, and I just thought, wow, we got John Lennon back in the groove again, and then he was taken from us.
It was like I've said this before. I was living by myself in this small apartment and saw it on TV that night, right? And it's just a big show, but it's like it's like a family loss.
Yeah.
That's how it felt, right? Like
shocking. Well, and horrifying that he was murdered. It wasn't like he just died or, his plane crashed or something. Somebody killed him.
Yeah.
And that was just the most horrifying thing. It was a shattering event for sure, and very sad. And yeah.
So music and cat lover. I only want to say Larry brought me again to Sparks via his channels. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. Well, I'm glad. And yeah, my job was to promote Sparks when I was working with them, and I still promote Sparks.
Well, I've never been paid, Peter. I only got to meet them last year.
Well, I never said I got paid, did I?
Yeah, they owe you big time.
No, they don't owe me anything. They gave me the pleasure and privilege of working with them and getting to know them as human beings. And to me, one of the greatest honors in my life, and it will be something that I hope is in my obituary if I have one, that I knew Sparks and worked with them.
Peter Knego, in brackets, he knew Sparks.
Yeah. If they don't take my name off the obituary, which is what, unfortunately happens when they re-release their albums.
Yeah,
like with the new
I
release
saw that.
Yeah, I was like really heartbroken.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just a thing that they do. And I'm like, my God, it was my first album credit. And it was, to me, the ultimate, honor to be mentioned on a Sparks album with only two other people. Yeah. And another person whose name was taken off, I believe, was Joseph Fleury, their manager. Mm-hmm. And Joseph was a dear friend. And I think that's wrong. He's not their current manager, but they should have kept his name on there, maybe with his, his birth year, his years, Joseph Fleury, 1940, whatever, to 1993. And he shouldn't have been taken off. But there you go. Yeah. That's what happens. That's the music business.
Yeah. Yeah. Show that T-shirt again.
Okay. Yeah, it's the ELO Jeff Lynne's. The Alone in the Universe tour. I think they sold these at the Hollywood Bowl, which was a really great show.
Yeah.
Saw them twice there. I was in the fourth row on the first show, which was great, but we had no idea there were fireworks because we couldn't see it over the dome. And then I saw them in the back with the fireworks the next night, and insanely brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you, Davey, for the it's so true about B-52s. And oh yes, well, that's the rumor about John Lennon calling Ringo and saying Mark Bolan with Hitler. It's a great moment in the Sparks Brothers. I can't verify if it was actually true, but I know that the Beatles were definitely aware of Sparks, of course, and then Paul McCartney
Yeah,
impersonating.
when I first saw, I think it was on Saturday Night Live when they first played the Coming Up video, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'd never seen it before, and I'm watching it, and I'm seeing Paul playing, and I see him as Ron. I could not believe it.
And can you imagine? And in
Paul McCartney
1980,
knows Sparks.
that was the year that Terminal Jive came out and wasn't even released in America. That's
Yeah,
how,
yeah,
unfortunately, unpopular Sparks was at the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
And then for Paul McCartney to impersonate Ronnie was just like, you see,
yeah,
all the doubters out there,
yeah,
you got to give Sparks a chance.
yeah, yeah,
Sparks are the classiest band duo brothers ever, and they
yeah,
fill me with joy too. Right on, Morris. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just they obviously. I'm not saying they never have disagreements, but it's rare, pretty rare in music, especially for two brothers. Even my brothers, I didn't get along with, right?
Yeah.
For them to get along so well for all of these years. What
Yeah.
do you have? What do you think it is? Like the age gap a little bit, or
I think it's their mom, a lot of it.
yeah,
I think their mom encouraged both of them as kids, and she showed them so much love. And there's that really touching bit in
yeah,
the Sparks Brothers when she drove them up to see
yeah.
the Beatles.
Yeah, I remember Russell saying that's a mum. That was
Yeah,
just, yeah.
she was a
That's it
lovely.
at all.
Yeah, she adored those guys, and
Yeah.
I think she was a very smart lady. And their dad. And again, all of this is not stuff that I'm revealing. This is all in the movie.
Yeah.
Because they're very private people.
Yep.
But their dad clearly was a brilliant artist. That painting he
I saw
did
that,
of
yeah.
Santa Monica Pier was like French Impressionism. So I think they grew up with very intelligent, very loving parents. And I think they grew up together. And I think Ronnie was probably very protective of Russell. And then they formed music together as artists. And then I think they realized that this thing that they had with Ron's ability to construct these insanely brilliant songs that musically as well as lyrically were just in a different planet and a different mode from anything that was going on, and yet so cutting edge and trend setting in their own way. And Russell's vocalizations and his interpretations, no regular singer. I think the person who came closest to singing a Sparks song that I can enjoy and listen to is Susie Sue. And clearly she based a lot of her vocals on Russell. And so Susie and the Banshees cover of This Sound is great.
Yep.
Still not as good as Sparks, and it doesn't have all of Russell's incredible vocal intonations. But together, they're just, I think Ron uses Russell as his instrument of expression, and Russell hones and tunes what Ronnie does. And together, their symbiosis is spectacular. I think it's great that they're probably, aligned as far as, their beliefs and, humankind and history, and they love culture. And so I think all of that worked together. They're very lucky to have each other as brothers.
Is there any kind of contrast with them, with what they like music wise? Like, is like Russell more into electronic music than Ron would be, or?
No, that I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know that, and Ron and Russell were always, they would never go on about how much they loved a particular artist. Although I knew the Kinks, I knew the Who, and the Move were three of the artists that they loved. And then I later learned, certain Rolling Stones. But they would talk more about a particular song that came out at the time. And even if it was a corny, weird pop record, like I know they liked the Hazy Fantasy song, Shiny, Shiny, because they thought it was interesting and different. It was a British hit. It wasn't big in the US. And then there was this weird German singer called Wigfield. And it was just such ridiculous kind of corny pop that they liked it. But I think with Ron and Russell, they were always listening to what was going on, but never copying contemporary music, but just getting the vibe.
Yeah.
But I think their influences were more in jazz, and artists like Nina Simone and, Charlie Parker and
Miles Davis.
Miles Davis. Yeah, I think that's the kind of stuff that they were always impressed with. I know they like Sarah Vaughan, Dinah Washington, Is You Is or Is You Ain't. I mean, that's in the scene. So I think their influences go back deeper, and they like Howlin' Wolf and artists that wouldn't be who you would expect Sparks necessarily to like.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
I was going to ask you one other thing. I forget. I'm old, Peter.
Well, really? Larry? Oh, I'm young, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think around the time of Number One in Heaven, didn't they produce this crazy record, this guy in sheep or something?
What?
Yeah, it was, with sheep. It was like this really bizarre record.
I don't even know that. No, yeah. I'll have to investigate.
Yeah,
because I know at Number One in Heaven they did Noel, and that's an incredible album.
Just a second, I'll phone up Ron here.
Okay, call Ronnie. Yeah. He's traveling somewhere.
It's like a French. I think it was an album or at least a song, but it was a French song, and they produced it around the same time as Noel. Yeah.
There was an artist named Leo who was a pop singer in France, and I know they did lyrics for her, and then they wrote the lyrics for the Telex album Sex.
Yeah.
Which the songs, and I think that's when they became close friends with Telex, because they used their studios, Marc Moulin, his studio in Belgium. But I didn't know about this one you're talking about. I'll have to check that out.
I'll look it up and send it to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, please do. So Adam, what do you mean by Queen, etc.?
Yeah. What do you mean by that? Don't talk about Queen on this live chat. But tell us a bit about your YouTube channel, Peter.
Oh, okay. Well, my YouTube channel is
about boring. It's about ships.
It's about ships. It's about old cruise ships and ocean liners. It's called Midship Cinema, and I rate and review modern cruise ships. On occasion, especially smaller ones that go to off the beaten track ports. I'm not a big fan of like Carnival and Royal Caribbean and those big, massive cruise ships. But I love ocean liners, classic ocean liners like the Queen Mary and New Amsterdam, and even the Titanic. Even though I can't, I'm tired of the Titanic. Yeah. But I love ships, and I used to spend all my money going around the world to find old, crumbling cruise ships and document them. Back in the 90s, and went to the scrapyards in India. Everything you see behind me is from a ship, except for that Sparks scarf and my ELO and ABBA caps. But these doors are from the cinema of an old British ocean liner, and that artwork is from by an Italian artist from a Greek cruise ship. So I went to the scrapyard in India, and I bought all these things, and I sell them on a website, this mid-century furnishing and artwork. And I furnished my house with bits of ocean liners. Yeah. When I stopped being in the music business, I became a writer for cruise ships. So I review cruises, and I was, I guess, an influencer before that term was invented, and before the whole vacuousness of people walking around with selfie sticks talking about themselves, not knowing what they're talking about as far as the ship or cruise is concerned, became popular. And now I'm just this old dude who complains about all that kind of stuff with a YouTube channel.
Will you be buried at sea, Peter?
Well, that would mean I probably died on a ship, which I don't necessarily know. I don't know. I just want, cremate me and sprinkle me off of the stern of a ship, sure, but not in a coffin with all that kind of stuff. That can get messy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was talking about Queen when, I guess, John was talking with Julian about rock music in the late 70s.
What? Did John like Queen?
I don't know. I heard that John actually liked, like prog bands like Yes and all that. It's
interesting. And I think John was, into new wave or punk. Yeah. I think John was a real musician who, even though he might have been in the league of, great pop rock, mainstream in a way, I think his taste went all around, and that's what made him such a genius.
Here's a comment for you, Peter.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. So, Music and Cat Lover. My podcast partner, by the way, has a podcast called Shelter Cats. And he's a ship guy. And the Cap San Diego is beautiful. It's in Hamburg. It's a freighter, but it's got gorgeous lines, and it's beautifully maintained, and it still operates. It's built in the early 60s. It's very cool, mid-century.
Sam, you're fired.
Oh, Sam. Yeah, sorry we didn't get to get your ELO vibes in there.
Next time we do an ELO top 20 list live, we'll invite you again.
Yeah, the ELO top 20 that Larry and I didn't do this time. There's easily another good 20 songs.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was fun. And we'll have to get together again at some point, maybe before the end
your
of
hair
this
will
month.
be some weird color by then.
It might be. And we'll have to talk about some band called Sparks.
I love that. You can never get.
And maybe we'll get Morris on with us. He's a big Sparks fan. And because of the Sparks Brothers movie, the Sparks Brothers documentary, so many people like Morris checked them out and became fans, right?
Yeah. Well, Edgar Wright did what many of us wanted to do. There were people in the Sparks orbit, like myself, this guy, Gary Stewart, who's in the movie. He was one of the chief executives at Rhino Records. Sadly, he's passed away. But there were several of us who spent our every waking moment trying to, get the world to pay some attention to Sparks. And Edgar Wright was the guy who finally achieved that. And I worship Edgar. He's a lovely guy. And that 2 hours we spent in that studio was 2 of the happiest hours of my life. And to have been able to be one of those many talking heads in that movie is a great honor. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't make the cut. I would have, slit my wrists, because Sparks is such a big part of my life.
And
Edgar.
It was cool too, because I didn't know that Mike Myers was a Sparks fan, right? He was in that.
Hi, Adam. Thank you. Yeah, Mike Myers, right?
And
how cool is that?
Beck and
Beck.
Flea. It's like they're Sparks fans.
Well, they opened for Sparks.
The
Rolling Rabbits tour, the Red Hot Chili Peppers were the opening act. That was when they were performing with just socks on their, what? So,
and Weird Al, right?
Yeah, Weird Al. Yeah, and
he's got to be one of the sweetest guys in music, right?
Yeah, very
and
mellow.
His band, he's had the same band for so many years.
And he sold like millions of records, and it's never gone to his head. Yeah. And you'd see him at Spark shows bopping around, in the last decade or so. He's always at the Spark shows, and, a big fan.
Yeah.
Morris, I can talk Sparks all day and all night, so let's do it. Yeah.
Weird Al. Yeah.
So
thank you very much, Peter. Any parting words? This is when you say great things about me. You compliment me.
Well, I will, and I do, because you are a very big beacon for Sparks fans and music fans in general. You're really likable as a human being, fun to listen to. I like your wry sense of humor, and your pure passion and love for music, especially Sparks. So thank you, Larry.
Peter, I really like you because you laugh at my jokes.
I'm laughing now, right? Yeah. I'm pretty easy on that, I guess. No, but you're a very cool guy, and it's a real honor and a delight to thank you for having me. I'm just an ELO fan. I never got to work with them. I did get to meet Jeff twice, very briefly, through some fan club things arranged by this lovely lady. I do have to put props to Lynne, who runs the ELO Face the Music Facebook page, and she has been wonderful about keeping ELO fans informed, and I highly recommend that.
Okay.
So props to Lynne.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks everybody for dropping by. This was fun, and we'll do another live chat soon with Peter talking about Sparks.
If you'll have me, thanks for having me, Larry. It's been fun.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone.